Welcome to another edition of our NFL preview show. I'm Ben Parsons.
I'm Austin Porter.
And we're here to discuss the key matchups in the NFC this week, and the first one being the Lions as they travel to Minnesota to play the Minnesota Vikings. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Well, Minnesota just came off a tough loss, and I don't know if they can recover from it, but I'm hoping they are because I want Minnesota to win. I want them to do good. They've had a pretty good season without two of their best players, Adrian Peterson and their starting quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. So I'm hoping they can pull this off. What about you?
This is a tough game because, both teams have been playing. Actually, one team has been playing really well of late. The Lions. The Vikings have lost 2 straight, and they just lost Norv Turner, their offensive coordinator. And I think Pat Schumer is going to take his place. But I do think it's going to be a close game. The Lions have been playing very well of late. The Lions lost last week, but they put up a good fight to Houston, and I think Matthew Stafford's really going to show up in this game. So I'm going to have to pick the Lions.
All right, I see where you're going there. Let's take it to our next NFC game with the Eagles against the Giants. It's going to be at MetLife Stadium. Who do you got winning this one?
This is a great game. Both teams need this win. They're both sitting at 4-3 so far. The Eagles are coming off of, 2 losses. No, they're coming off of 1 loss last week to the Cowboys in a game they could have won. And the Giants are coming off of 2 victories, although their 2 victories were against teams that defensively are a little laxed, I guess. But Eli Manning's playing well, and he's capable of always putting up great numbers. He does turn over the ball a little more than Carson Wentz has this year, so that's the one thing that Carson Wentz might have over him. But Eli just has so many weapons, so it's tough. But I do think the Eagles' defense is going to step up in this game, and I think the Eagles are going to take this one. What about you?
It's weird because I actually don't think the Eagles' defense can compete with the Giants' offense. Giants' offense, their receivers are just so powerful. I don't think they have any defensive backs that can cover Odell Beckham or Shepard or anyone else on our team. So, but other than that, their offense is a lot better than our defense. So I think it will be a good game. It's always like the Giants either get destroyed or it's a close game.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's a close game, but I'm also hoping the Giants come out with the win.
It's at home, so it'll help.
It will help, hopefully.
All right, the final game we'll talk about today is the Bills are traveling all the way to Seattle to play the Seattle Seahawks. Who do you got in this one?
I got the Seahawks in this one. I think that the Seahawks have the better team overall. The Bills are always up and down. They're never consistent. And they don't have Sammy Watkins, I don't think, right?
Nope.
They still don't have Sammy Watkins. So Seattle has their defense can easily cover anyone on that team right now. So I'm going to go with Seattle on this one by a large margin. What about you?
I don't know about that because, Seattle did just lose to the Saints, and the Saints have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. And although they do have Drew Brees, but I think Tyrod's going to show out in this game because Tyrod's had a great season. They can run the ball with Gillislee, and I don't think McCoy's in, but if McCoy is healthy, he can definitely run the ball. They did just get Percy Harvin back off retirement, but I don't think he'll be playing that much this week. So I'm going to think it's going to be a closer game than what you said, but I will have to take the Seahawks at home. Interesting.
I forgot about Percy Harvin coming off retirement. Mm-hmm. But hey, we'll see what happens.
That wraps things up for us. But before we send it on over to DeAngelo and Joe, we just wanted to give a shout out to one of our very own, Bobby Brinkley, and say happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Bobby. She's our PR and social media expert at SGTV. Right now, she's in New York doing an internship with Comedy Central, and I hope you're doing really well. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That was so sweet. Now we're going to switch over to the NFC as we're going to talk about our first predictions. The Denver Broncos are traveling to Oakland, California, the Bay Area, to take on the Oakland Raiders. Joe, what do you have on this game?
Yeah, this is a really high-profile division matchup, which we seem to talk about that a lot on this show. The Oakland Raiders, they're 6-2. Mm-hmm. They squeaked out an overtime win, one of many overtimes in the NFL the past few weeks. They said they won in overtime over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It wasn't necessarily, the best-looking win, considering that they broke the NFL record for most penalties. But Derek Carr, when the time came, he really came through and brought that team to a win. And he's really kind of the glue that sticks that team together. And Denver, on the other hand, they still have that stellar defense that they've always had. But I really do think Oakland is the best team in that division right now in terms of just talent. And so I do think that the Raiders will pull it off this week.
Well, I don't think I would call them the best team in that division. When they're right there with the Denver Broncos. When you talk about Derek Carr, he is one of the most established quarterbacks in the AFC this year. You know, the Oakland Raiders are looking really consistent on offense. Like you said, they broke the record for most penalties in a game, but they still came out with the win against Tampa Bay last week. You look at the Denver Broncos, their offense is still a mystery. They're somehow winning games, but as we all know, they still have that powerhouse defense. Both teams have powerhouse defenses, you know, on that side of the ball. But I'm going to have to go with the Oakland Raiders as well. They're like one of the most improved teams in the NFL this year. They really are looking up to that expectations of the talent that they have. So I'm going to have them with a surprise win against the Denver Broncos. All right, our next matchup we're going to talk about is the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Baltimore, Maryland to take on the Ravens. Now, we know this is one of the more intense rivalries in the NFL. Of course, previous playoff bouts, you know, trash talking on the sidelines. And we cannot forget about the Ike Taylor hit against running back Willis McGahee a couple of years ago. So, Joe, who do you have in this game?
Yeah, like you said, this is probably the most intense and physical rivalry in all of the NFL. The Steelers have been missing Big Ben for the past few weeks, but with him coming back and all their other offensive weapons, I think that's really going to make a difference in this game. The Ravens, you know, they had a hot start, but they haven't produced. Joe Flacco has just been so inconsistent, and so I think the Steelers will take a hard physical game this week.
You know who else misses Big Ben? I miss Big Ben because he's on my fantasy team. But still, let's get back to business. Now, you look at the Baltimore Ravens, like you said, they've been on a high start at the beginning of the year. Of course, they are on a losing streak. And you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben is very hopeful to come back to play for this team. And as we all know from previous weeks when he was healthy, him and Antonio Brown is the dangerous duo in the NFL. Of course, they have weapons like DeAngelo Williams and Le'Veon Bell. So I'm going to have to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game, even in Baltimore. Baltimore, the atmosphere is very intense. Of course, they are a Super Bowl champion team a couple of years ago, so the fans still have that championship mentality, knowing that they're an elite team. Now, our final matchup we're going to talk about today is a divisional matchup as the New York Jets travel to South Beach, Miami, Florida to take on the Dolphins. Joe, who do you have in this game?
Yeah, this is another AFC divisional game we have here. The Dolphins, the past few weeks, they've really stepped it up. They had that big upset with the Pittsburgh Steelers a few weeks ago with their running back who came out of nowhere pretty much. Fantasy owners with him have really struck a deal, got lucky. On the other side, the Jets just, it's almost, I feel like we say the same thing every year about the Jets. They just can't get it done. They always have a quarterback controversy, it seems like, and they have one this year. And so I think it's in Miami, which gives them, the Dolphins, another edge. I do think they'll take this one.
Yeah, when you look at this running back out of Miami, I call him the Haitian hero, Jay Ajayi, who's really proven himself. He said early in the year that he wants to be an elite running back and he can prove himself in the league. Past couple of weeks, he's really proven himself. He's really become a factor in this Dolphin offense. Ryan Tannehill has really stepped up his game. You know, his receiving core is looking really good. And, of course, you jump shift to the other side of the ball. You look at the New York Jets. They really haven't been looking as good this year. You know, Brandon Marshall has been doing this thing, but other than everybody else, it really hasn't been looking good. Eric Decker is still hurt. You look at Darrelle Reeves, who said previously this week, Father Time is actually catching up with him. So that is a very big problem, and they had really bad success in the quarterback situation. They had Geno, he's hurt. Ryan Fitzpatrick really can't find his mojo. So I'm going to have to go with the Miami Dolphins to win this game. I just don't see the Jets actually trying to contend to win this football game. So I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. We also want to wish Bobby a very, very happy birthday. We are so proud of you and everything you have done. Happy birthday, baby girl.
Happy birthday, Bobby. And that does it for us this week. For Capital City Sports, I'm Joe McLean.
I'm DeAngelo Stevenson.
And we'll see y'all next week.